guys, welcome back to the channel. This is An2468 and today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different Borderlands 2 video. Today we're going to be covering loot midgets, how to farm them and where they spawn, as well as how to access the farm in general. Now to start it off, loot midgets, you're going to have 4 of them that will spawn from the boxes. Now there is a way to make it to where less spawn, so I'll show you how to avoid that because it's a simple mistake and sometimes you can make it just by accident. But first and foremost, each loot midget has a chance to drop any item in the legendary whirlpool drop. So there's like 70 different pieces of gear in that drop, and all 4 of these loot midgets can drop essentially any of them. But whenever it comes to level 63 or higher, the loot midgets actually will also have pearlescence added to their drop pool as well, so they'll be able to drop pretty much any pearlescent that's available. Now, in terms of how you're going to go about unlocking this area to do this mission, pretty much all you're going to do is you're going to play through the campaign, and then you're going to get to the Wildlife Exploitation Preserve. When you get here, you're pretty much just coming to do a mission for Mordecai. Whenever you do get here, though, before you leave Sanctuary to come to this area, go ahead and go to Tanis, and you're going to look for the mission called Doctor's Orders. Which she's going to have you pretty much collect 4 different Slagga experiment notes while you're running through the map. Now, you can still do this after you beat Mordecai's mission, but if you wait to beat Mordecai's mission and just farm, it makes it a whole lot easier, which we'll get into a little bit later in the video. Alright, so whenever you come to Wildlife Exploitation Reserve, you're going to have pretty much just mini-map markers on where you want to go. Now, the key is you only want to pick up 1 of the Slagga experiment notes, not any more than that. So, 1 of the notes will allow the loot midgets to spawn, while if you pick up 2, then 1 less will spawn, and then eventually, so forth and so on, and eventually all 4 will not spawn. So you want to make sure just to have the 1 picked up, which I'll show you where it spawns from. Now kind of as a cool little thing, when you first come to this area, especially if this is your first playthrough, whenever you come over here, you're going to have all these loaders and stuff spawn, and Mordecai is going to be giving you dialogue and everything like that. Well, as part of the mission, to open up the door that's just beyond that alley, or that corner there, he's going to have you damage the loaders. So pretty much shoot them until their repair emblems pop up above their heads and stuff. Now, if you want to, you can do it that way, and you can get that door to open, but if you keep killing all the loaders and the enemies that spawn and everything like that, then what he'll do is he'll, that's interesting. What'll happen is we'll get a special dialogue from Mordecai about why did the doors open prior to you damaging the loaders. Now, obviously this area is pretty heavy on mobs, especially with robots and stuff, so I would suggest using incendiary or caustic when coming through here. Now I'm a much higher level than most of these guys, so I'm just going to run through them, just for the sake of making the video easier to explain as well as quicker. Alright, now coming up to this pipe up here to get to this little survey room. Right here on the edge of this machine, it's going to be sitting right here. It's going to be the first note. That is the note that I always collect. I usually don't collect any of the other ones. It's usually the first one you come across. At least that's how I do it. Now, this is kind of a long area to run to in terms of getting to the area to farm the loot midgets. But once you get there, there's a save spot that you can hit where it'll make you spawn pretty much all the way up here. So once you come into this building, go to your immediate right of these machines here and fast travel into the natural selection annex. Once you fast travel here, it will set your spawn to this fast travel point. So whenever you exit and save from doing this farm, you will always spawn here. Now there's 2 different routes you can take to get to the area over there. The first route you're going to take is going to be pretty much just going straight through here, and you have to fight through bots. Then you have to fight through some more enemies, and then you'll have to pretty much finally fight through bots at the end. Or if you take a sharp left here, You run over down this way. This spot's kind of tedious to get to. But you can essentially bounce up here, and then you can skip having to fight all those guys, and it does shave some time off your run. So now what's going to happen is you're going to have loaders start spawning. So in this area, this is the door you're going to be going through, but you have to kill all the enemies that spawn in. Now, once the badass loader spawns, which I wish we would have done a little bit slower. Once you kill the badass loader, you're gonna have the badass creature that spawns. You're gonna have a badass loader that will spawn right after. Which once you kill this guy, then you'll have access to this room. Now, before I step any further into this room, when you're first going through here, these walls are gonna have a luminescent orange barriers that will keep the enemies in, so they won't be able to bother you. Once you complete the campaign mission that they're going to have you do, these walls will open up. So essentially what that means is all of these guys will be able to come after you. Now the badasses are kind of stuck in their cages, but they can still hit you with their ranged attacks even while you're just standing here. Now this is going to be the room that the loot midgets are going to spawn in. You're going to have one loot midget per box, and you're going to have a chance at a rare enemy spot known as Jimmy Jenkins. Now, it is also good to know that, like, whenever you have a lot of loot on the ground and you hold X, or depending on what, platform you're playing on, it will quick collect everything in the vicinity. Do not hold X in this room because you will pick up this experiment note, and when you do, you'll have one less loot midget to spawn, which means one less chance to get a legendary or a pearl, depending on your level. It is also, something just taking in mind that these boxes back here, I've had it to where I have like opened them, quick collected, and then accidentally collected that note through the wall. So just make sure just like click X or whatever your pickup button is whenever you go to gather resources in this area, or just drop loot rather. Now to do the farm is super simple. Once you get to this point, all you gotta do is open the boxes, they'll spawn, and then you kill them, and you do all four. Alright, and then once you kill all four, which these guys are great sources of XP too, especially when you first get to this area. And this box also has a chance to drop legendaries. At least I've had a few come out of here, so now once you take these four guys out, you pretty much have no reason to stay in this area. So what you're going to do is just exit and save. You're going to hit continue, and then you will spawn all the way back here, which is where you had saved your spawn at. So now what we're going to do is, instead of going the route that I just went, I'm going to take an alternative route to show you what's through here. Nothing's spawning. My game might be broke. Usually those spawn. So then once again, there's kind of a bunch of loaders that are going to spawn on top of you, as well as just spawn in. The stalkers will also spawn in. Try to do this a little slower. Alright, let's see. So usually the badass spawns over here. Yeah, so once the badass stalker spawns in, you'll kill him. You'll have a couple bots that'll spawn on top of the badass stalker. But once you kill that badass stalker, then a badass loader will spawn. Now, doing this while these barriers are up and while this door is closed before completing the mission for Mordecai is by far the fastest way to do this, because nothing's gonna intervene with you farming these guys. But yeah, once you do that, come over here, open the box. And that was a Jimmy Jenkins spawn. He usually don't drop legendaries, he just drops pretty good XP. Then that's pretty much it. That's going to be it for today's video. That's the legendary loot midget farm. I hope this helps you with finding out how to do certain things or spawn special enemies, so that way you can farm them. This farm in particular is really good for legendaries, so I hope that it helps you, pretty much just fill your inventory full of orange items. With that being said, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and have a good day.